What's up guys, it's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Went Solo Part 3. Now you guys already know the like goal. Since we hit 600 so easily these last two videos, let's try to hit 700. And if you guys want to know exactly when I upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for the support on What If Issei Went Solo. It's been absolutely amazing. Truly thank you, like seriously. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Chapter 10. Hello, Sona. Rias went to the club room the moment she entered her barrage surrounded, then asked her. So what happened? Does he still hate us? Kiba said. Rias will give us a chance to talk to him? Akane replied. Same question, Konako said. Rias shook head them like before and said, just give me a moment then I'll tell you everything, okay? Rias said. Everyone had a group hug, and after a few minutes Rias was calm enough to tell them what both of them said. She revealed that she had nightmares and hallucinated. Everyone also admitted that they went through the same thing but were all too afraid to tell anyone because they believed it was their punishment. All five of them let out their pent-up emotions. Rias, the ruined princess, Akane, the half-fallen, half-devil queen, Azia, the former nun, Kiba the knight, and even the Stoda Koa all cried together like little children. Issei was outside the clubroom and listening to their every word and sob. I believe they have suffered enough, partner, Drake said. Maybe, Issei said. Issei didn't visit Sona after talking with Rias. He hid his presence and used his dragon hearing to find out what the others were saying now that he's back. He was actually surprised that they really did regret hurting him. Issei had his proof and walked away to visit Sona. He knocked on her office and opened. It was Sona Queen Tsubaki who opened the door. Sona was sitting on the chair behind her desk. Issei, is that really you? It's good to see you, Sona said. Good to see you too. How have you been? Issei replied. I've been doing okay. It hasn't been the same since you beat Riser all on your own. Word got out all over the underworld. You're a legend now, Sona said. I was hoping to avoid that in all honesty, Issei replied. Tsubaki, it was unavoidable since it was quite the feat. So I assume you saw the match, Issei replied. It was recorded. If it's alright, can I ask you something? Tsubaki said. Sure. How did you come up with that plan to beat Riser? People tried seals, magic, force, you name it. It never worked, Tsubaki said. During the match with Riser, always regenerates any part of him that was destroyed, so I came up with the idea to squeeze his heart to the point where it wouldn't be damaged, but it couldn't pump blood to the rest of his vital organs. Basically, I gave that guy a very painful attack. That was just brutal, Issei. You could have killed him, Sona said. Believe me, I wanted to, but I don't want the underworld on my tail. No pun intended. Also, how is Riser? Is he still an arrogant fried chicken? Tsubaki giggles. Actually, he's better now besides health, Sona said. Huh? Issei replied. After getting his ass handed to him by you, his ego shattered by a low-class devil made him have a more clear outlook on life. Also, thank you, Issei, Sona said. For what? Issei replied. For teaching those two perps a lesson. They won't be peeping on any of the girls anymore, Tsubaki said. We couldn't force them, but now a fully graduated student can. Also, here's your diploma. Issei takes the diploma. Thanks. Now all the small talk is out of the way. You want to know why I left, don't you? Issei replied. Sona and Tsubaki are not surprised that Issei knew what they wanted to ask. There's no point in denying it. We want to know why you hate and your now former master and comrade so much. I can show you, Issei said. Issei used magic and projected his memories on the wall. After seeing all of Issei's memories from the start of his hellish life to the present, both Sona and Tsubaki were angry. A lot of info was kept secret from them. They had the right to know since Issei was a fellow devil who fought alongside them for 5 years. From your expressions, I take that you didn't know everything, Issei said. We were only told that Riser was found cheating on Rias, then you challenged him for her freedom. You saved her. Then, after a while, you went missing, then presumed dead. Only your pawn pieces were found. Right now, I want to slap Rias right through all 9 circles of hell, Sona said. I can't believe that Kiba and the others did were so cruel. And to think I liked him, Tsubaki replied. I still haven't forgiven him, or the others, but there's something you should both know. Rias and the others have changed for the better, Issei said. Both of them go, huh? Issei tells him about his talk with Rias, and about what he heard outside the clubroom. Both were shocked, especially Tsubaki. Kiba cried? I've never seen him cry. Tsubaki said, I know, it's strange coming from me, but we get to know him, Issei said. What? Don't get me wrong, I haven't fully forgiven them, but I won't be cruel to cockblock the guy. He's not the guy that came to hate a few moments ago. Sona, I know you're a good friend of Rias, but now that you know all the details, please help her fight. Please help her after the fight, Issei said. Of course. We need to deal with Kokaville first, Sona said. Yeah, it's getting late. I've taken enough of your time, so I'll be going now. Take care, Sona. You too, Issei, Sona said. Issei left the school and went back to look at his new apartment. He found one and paid a few months' rent ahead in advance with the money he shaved up from his contacts during his devil nights. Issei sat on his bed and listened to music. His favorite song, Billie Eilish. Lovely. Issei may have lived off in the forest, but not always. Then the day arrived. The fight with the war-loving crow was now about to begin. And that's the end of Chapter 10. Hello, Sona. Chapter 11. Murderers. Sona and her Parage were in charge of creating a barrier to contain the fight. Issei, Rias, and her team were in the club room. It was tense in the room, and the upcoming battle intensified it. Everyone was silent, and made glances towards Issei, who didn't look at them. He only stared out the window. His eyes were filled with bloodlust. Rias and the others don't know whom they were more afraid of, the fallen angel army or Issei. Azia broke the silence. So what's the plan? Azia said. Issei didn't look away from the window, but responded. You stay behind. Konako, Kiba, Akeno, and Rias, you four can kill the fallen angels and I'll take on Kokaville. There's something I need to ask that fallen shit, Issei said. Which is it? Akeno replied. The name of the bitch that killed me, Issei said. Issei said as he kept his hand over his chest where the fallen angel impaled him. The thought of the day that made Issei like cry, a scary growl. Then the sound of 100 pairs of wings were heard. Issei and Team Rias walked outside and saw 100 fallen angels, but one stood above them. A fallen with black 10 wings. His menacing smile proved that he was Kokaville. I'm disappointed. Only the Gremory girls are with a Parage, whereas Sir Zex, Kokaville said. He won't waste his time with you, just go home, Rias said. You've got some nerve talking to me like that, Kokaville said. Then talk to me, you little piece of shit, Issei said. Who dares? I do. Issei walks forward. Now this is a pleasant surprise. The Red Dragon Emperor makes his appearance in months, but you were said to be dead, Kokaville said. Do I look dead to you, motherfucker? I'm more alive than you'll be very soon, Issei said. Kokaville is visibly angry after being insulted. Why, all of you attack, but the Red Dragon is mine to fight, Kokaville said. Kokaville orders his small fry to attack. Balance breaker. Issei enters his balance breaker while Rias and the others attack as well. Ias and Kokaville almost equally matched. Issei battles Kokaville mid-air. Both exchange punch after punch. Issei dodged light spears and even killed other fallen angels that intervened, but Issei's stamina was running low. I want answers, Kokaville, Issei said. Oh? Like what? Kokaville replied. I want to know of the name of the fallen bitch that killed me 5 years ago, Issei said. Beat me, and then I'll tell you. Ha! Kokaville replied. Have it your way, Issei said. Now Issei was fired up. He held nothing back and began to push Kokaville over the edge. Rias was killing the fallen angels left and right like her team. Now they had the fighting spirit since Issei was back. Half of the fallen army was either dead or wounded. Before she could kill another, she was tackled by a woman. Quite the displeasure to meet you, Rias. Rias got up. Who the hell are you? Oh, you remember me. I should have killed you 5 years ago, Rias said. You really should have. I wasn't strong enough to kill you back then, but I was strong to kill that weakling pawn of yours, and now I'm strong enough to kill you. The fallen showed Rias her 4 pairs of black feathered wings. By the way, my name is Rainier, and I am the one who killed him. Rias was pissed off and then both enraged in combat. Rias was mainly engaged in her hopes that if she kills Rainier, then Issei would forgive her, and just maybe she could forgive herself. After a while, only a dozen or 2 fallen angels remained, but they still kept Kiba, Akeno, Konako, and Azia occupied. Rias was still fighting, but close to losing. Issei, on the other hand, was kicking Kokaville's ass. Kokaville was falling out of the sky after Issei ripped his wings off. Kokaville landed painfully on the ground. Issei lands next to him. Now answer my question. Issei stabs his claws into Kokaville's back where his wings used to be. Kokaville screamed in pain. All right, I'll talk. Just stop. Now what's the name? Oh, I'll tell you. But don't you want to know who killed your parents? Kokaville said. What do you know about that? I'm the one that killed them, and Rainier killed you on my orders, Kokaville said. Issei was just about to rip him apart Why? You were too dangerous to be kept alive, Kokaville replied. Issei used his tail. Issei used his tail to pierce Kokaville's back, rupturing his organs. Kokaville, ah! Now before I kill you, where's Rainier? She's over there about to kill your girlfriend, Kokaville said. Issei looks towards Rias, and he sees her pinned her against the wall with a fallen angel with 8 wings and about to put a light spear through her. Issei flew towards the fallen angel. She already killed him, but she won't kill Rias. He won't allow it. Serzex and Grafia would be heartbroken, and another war would break out when she was killed. Say bye-bye, Red. Issei put his arm right through her chest and grabbed her heart. Rainier looked at Issei. You're still alive. Unlike you, Issei replied. Issei ripped out her heart and she dropped dead. You saved me again. Thanks, Rias said. I did it for Serzex, not you. Rias felt hurt but smiles nevertheless, and then feels blood splatter on her face. She looked at Issei and was horrified to see a light spear go through his chest. Experience it the second time for both of them was too far much worse. Rias looked at the direction from where the spear came from, and saw Kokaville standing with his arm in the air. He was laughing because he threw the spear, and it hit Issei in his chest, damaging his heart. Issei looked at Rias. Rias. After uttering her name, he collapsed on the ground. Rias was looking at Issei, who was dying before her eyes yet again. She snapped. She released a massive wave of her destructive powers and killed every Fallen, including Kokaville. Everyone, including Sonia and her team, rushed to Rias and saw the Fallen disintegrate into nothing. They looked at her and saw Rias and saw holding an Issei and destroyed the spear in his chest with her bare hand. Her hand was buried and she didn't care. Azia, get over here, Rias said. Azia ran to Rias and started to heal Issei, but the damage was too great. Rias, the damage is too great. I can't heal him. Please, just try. Issei, wake up, Rias said. Issei was nearly unconscious, but suddenly a woman wearing a black-red kimono with a yellow obi. She had 2 black tails and cat ears with the most beautiful glowing golden cat-like eyes, her long black flowering hair and nice wavy ends. Half of her DD-sized cleave was visible. She crouched down and put her hands on Issei's chest, and wound was used for magic to heal him. It was working. Kuroka, what are you doing here? Konako said. Wait, Kuroka? The SS-class stray devil? Akane replied. Yes. Now is not the time for formalities. Focus on saving Issei, Kuroka said. Get away from my Issei. I don't trust you. He's dead. If you don't let me help, so be useful for once call and just let me help. Everyone was silent. Sonia was the first to snap out of shock and advanced and teleported everyone to the underworld hospital. Issei was taken to the ER and his wounds were surgically closed, but Kuroka still didn't stop using her magic. It kept Issei alive and doctors let her continue. They found Issei still holding the heart of a fallen angel and put an organ in storage unit. Eventually his wounds closed and Issei stabilized, but his heart was damaged beyond repair. The doctor told Rias and the others. We closed his wounds with the help of your friend, but his heart is too badly damaged. We don't know how long, but we are conducting tests. If he wasn't a dragon, then he would be dead already, the doctor said. The doctor walks away and left the others with their thoughts. Rias went numb. So did the others, but Kuroka went to visit Issei. Serzex and Grafia came to the door after Sonia informed them of the situation. He runs into Rias. Where's Issei? Serzex replied. He's in there, Rias said. Serzex and Grafia immediately enter Issei's room, and followed by Rias and the others. Both Serzex and Grafia see Kuroka come in the room. Grafia blinds her using a magic seal. Grafia, stop! Rias says. She's a SS-class stray. She killed her master, Serzex replied. She helped save Issei's life, Akane replied. Both Serzex and Grafia went silent, then looked at Kuroka. Grafia unbinds her. Is she telling the truth? Grafia says. Yes, Kuroka replied. Why would you help us? Kuroka begins to blush. It's because, Issei replied, she's my lover. The bomb was just dropped, just like the jaws of everyone in the room except for Kuroka and Issei. Your lover? Rias replied. That's the end of Chapter 11, Murderers. Chapter 12, New Love. Your lover? Everyone says in surprise. Yeah, she and I have been dating for over a month now, Issei said. Yeah, it's true. He's my dragon, Kuroka replied. And she's my little hellcat, Issei said. Kuroka winks at Issei and he blushed. Rias's heart breaks right there, and then she puts on a fake smile. Congrats to the both of you. If you'll excuse me, Rias said. Rias leaves the room and everyone knows why, including Issei, but Kuroka doesn't. What just happened? Kuroka replied. I'll tell you everything when the time is right, Issei said. Everyone else just looked down and was sad. The doctor suddenly comes in. Everyone, I have some news, the doctor said. What is it? Sir Zex immediately replied. The doctor immediately bows in respect and then continues. When we were taking Issei to the ER, we found him with an actual heart in his hand, and we took it for testing and we checked the blood types, the doctor said. Are you saying that Issei can have a heart transplant immediately? Grafia replied. Yes, but the heart belonged to a fallen angel. Since he's a dragon, I'm not sure if his body will accept it, but there's a chance it'll work, but it requires her help. The doc gestures to Kuroka. How can I help? Kuroka replied. You'll use sage magic to save him, correct? Yeah, Kuroka replied. Then we can use it to make the transplant a success, but I don't know if there will be any side effects, and that's where you decide if you wish for us to continue with this experimental procedure, doctor said. I'll do it, Issei replied. Everyone except Kuroka. What? Guys, think about it. I may be a dragon, but I'm not that strong. If I don't do it, then I'll die. I have nothing to lose, Issei replied. Are you sure about this? Akeno said. I am, Issei replied. Then I'll prepare the ER. We will begin right away. Everyone else, please wait in the waiting room, the doctor said. Rias is already in the waiting room and the others enter. They tell her about the procedure and she's visibly worried and terrified. Sir Zex comforts her. The surgeons and Kuroka perform the operation and it goes well. It took a few hours. It went as well as we hoped. I'll tell them the news and he'll wake up after a while, the doctor says. No, I'll do it, Kuroka replies. Issei is taken to the recovery room and Kuroka goes to the waiting room. Rias goes up to her and asks her in a broken voice, will he be okay? Kuroka smiles and nods. Everyone immediately cheers. Konako just hugs her big sister. Rias just stands there shedding tears of joy. Alright everyone, I'd like to say something. Miss Kuroka, you helped save my little brother's life. And for that, I'll remove your status as a stray. Consider it as a thank you from us, Sir Zex replied. Sir Zex bows to her. Kuroka is bewildered at the sight and even more so as the others bow to her as well. There's no need to thank me, I just did what I could, Kuroka said. Regardless, you are now a free devil, but I have one request. You must tell us about how you met Issei, Sir Zex said. Kuroka blushed. How about we wait for Issei to recover and we will tell you the full story from both of our perspectives, Kuroka said. Everyone agreed and took turns looking after Issei. Rias and Kuroka were up first. Everyone else went home to rest. As both ladies were sitting next to each other, next to Issei's bed, Rias could tell that Kuroka was trying to ignore her existence. I know you want to say something, so please say it, Rias replied. You wouldn't like that, so what I have to say to you, Kuroka said. Do you love Issei? Rias replied. Obviously. I've known him for months. I know all about him, Kuroka said. I've known him for 5 years, Rias replied. You know of his existence, but nothing of his hopes, his dreams, his favorite type of music, foods, and hobbies, etc., Kuroka replied. Rias just sat there in silence. Do you even know his last name? Kuroka said. Rias just sat there in silence once more. It's hyoudou. 5 years, and you don't even know that. I'm also aware of his past. But I want to why. Why, Rias? Kuroka replied. I don't know, Rias said. Give me a real answer. I don't know, okay? I don't know why I hurt him again and again. He saved me from the stray and got hurt. He saved me fighting Riser alone, and he saved me from being killed by that fallen that killed him 5 years ago, and his heart beats in his chest because of me. I could have killed her and saved him without letting her twist a light spear in his chest. I kissed him twice in my life and he hated it. He hates me, and I can't blame him after all I put it through. When after all I did was he did to save me. And for me, who I am, he saw me as Rias, just Rias, not the Gremlin or the Ruined Princess, just me, and I was too blind to see it. He could have been the one, but my pathetic excuses of love, that bird blinded me, Rias said. You kissed him? Twice? Kuroka replied. Rias lets out a small laugh. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Since the night he left after the match, he removed his pieces and we thought he was dead. I thought he died hating me, and I had nightmares every time I closed my eyes and saw his face. I then realized he never smiled or laughed as long as I've known him. Believe me when I say that I regret everything I did and said to him. I just want to make this right. As Rias wiped her tears, Kuroka used her sage magic and saw that Rias was telling the truth. She was completely broken by everything that happened. Kuroka understood the heart of a maiden in pain. Listen, Rias, Issei made the choices of his own volition. He would have done even so that he does hate you. Kuroka said. A gauntlet appears on Issei's arm. She's right, Rias, Drake says. Rias jumps at the sudden voice calling out her name. Nice one, Drake. That was funny. Kuroka said. I didn't mean to startle you, Rias, but there's something you should know. Issei's rage is quite equal to that of a dragon's, yet he wants to let it go. That's the kind of person he is. He wants to forgive you and the others, but you'll have to be patient. Then I have a chance to make it, right? Thank you for telling me, Drake, Rias said. Glad to be of help. Issei will wake up soon. I'm currently strengthening his new heart. We shall speak again soon, ladies. Take care, Drake replied. And with that, Drake went silent. I knew he was really angry and rightfully so, but still wanting to move on and make peace. He continues to make me fall for him, Kuroka said. So you two really are in love. I have no chance to be with him, do I? Rias says. Rias, I'm sorry, Kuroka said. Don't be. I can only blame myself. Issei grunts and wakes up. Issei, you're awake? How do you feel? Said both girls. Tired, but alive. Looks like a heart transplant worked. Thanks, Kuroka. What would I do without you? I'll give you two a moment, Rias said. Rias leaves the room and contacts everyone with news that Issei woke up. Everyone immediately arrives and hugged Issei. For once, Issei actually felt the love. The doctor came to check up on Issei and ordered him to relax for a month or so. Issei was discharged and they all went to his apartment. Alright now, everyone. Since he is back to full health, I believe we owed a story. What do you say, Issei? Time to tell your story. Sure, let's begin. And that's the end of Chapter 12. New Love. Chapter 13. Red Dragon and the Black Cat. Flashback. The day after he left, Issei had started running, turning into a dragon slowly. His horns, elbow spikes, and tail were slowly forming. His body was being transformed on a cellular level, and no one said that it will be quick and painless. Issei was still emotional after everything happened yesterday with Rias, and the others in a physical pain was just making it worse. Issei was at the emotional threshold and decided to take a walk and eventually recognized a place that brought back painful memories. Issei ended up at the same place where the fallen angel Rainier killed him. To end up back where he started, from one hell to the next. Why? Why me? What did I do to suffer so much? Issei said. Issei's power flared and Issei went berserk. He started to fire energy projectiles and ripped apart the forest floor. Issei roared from the pain and his anger in his horns. Tail and his spikes grew quickly because of the dragon's power flows through rage. Issei, I understand your frustrations, but you have to calm down before you fully transform into a raging dragon. It'll attract others' attention, Drake said. Issei can't hear Drake, and all but continued to destroy the forest. He created a massive fireball and made a huge crater in the ground. Issei roared again with tears running down his face as he's still in all the manners of pain. Issei eventually calmed down and just sat there on the crater's edge. His mind was in disarray, then suddenly felt calm. It was honestly a new experience for him. Only then did he register the sensation of two slim hands holding him from behind, one on his head and one on his chest, as he expected his chest pain to flare up, but it didn't happen. Don't move, I'm trying to help, the woman said. Why help me? Issei replied. You're in pain, let me help, the woman replied. Issei was conflicted. Why would a random woman help him? And what were her intentions? Should he let her? She did. She did just calm him down, and it felt good. He hasn't felt like that in years. If she wanted to hurt him, then she would have done so already, as he defend himself if she tried anything. After deliberating, Issei decides to give her a chance. Thank you, miss, Issei says. Kuroka. My name is Kuroka. Now don't talk. Your mind is in disarray, your ki is unstable, and your heart is running on a marathon. I don't know what you went through to put you in such a dangerous state, but I'll try my best to help. Thank you. I'm Issei, Issei said. Issei closed his eyes and Kuroka was using her sage magic to stabilize Issei, which was working. Issei felt calm and his mind was clearing. His heart palpitations were becoming normal. After a few minutes, even the pain from the transformation stopped. You'll be okay. This was just a temporary fix. You'll need to sort out the cost for yourself, Kuroka said. Issei turns around and looks at Kuroka. He notices her Kimomomo. Her two black tails and cat ears, her golden eyes caught his attention the most. They both stare at each other, and Issei snaps himself out of his trance. If only if it was as easy as it sounds, Issei said. Issei gets up, and so does Kuroka. Do you want to talk about it? Kuroka replied. No, Issei said. Issei goes and sits by a tree. Kuroka goes over to him and sits on his lap. What are you doing? Issei said. Full disclosure, when I saw you, I felt something pulling me towards you, and it wasn't just your power, Kuroka says. Kuroka was just the right size. She fit perfectly in his lap and cuddled him. Issei was confused as to why. Why would she help him since they just met? Why is she clinging to him, and why can't he find the will to push her off? Issei was confused, and yet he knew she was there to comfort him. The one thing he longed for. Issei just hugged Kuroka tightly, and she hugged back, and both lay there till the sun set. Both watched it go down together and fell asleep holding each other. Kuroka could feel Issei's heart, and it brought her joy knowing that Issei is okay. Issei and Kuroka would begin to spend time daily for a few months. Issei was still emotionally distant and didn't talk about his past. Kuroka didn't force him, but she gave him a reason to trust her. She told him about her past. I know you still have your guard up around me, and I understand, but I want to earn your trust, Kuroka said. Issei just stood there in silence. 6 years ago, my little sister Shirone and I were part of the Devil's Parage. Our master was secretly performing illegal and inhumane experiments on us to make her stronger. They were a success, and he was about to perform them on my little sis. She was too little, and there was no way I would let that happen. I killed my master in his parage. My sister and I ran away, and I was marked as a stray. Eventually, we were hunted down by Grafia, of all people. I knew I was no match for her. I tried to escape with my sister, but she managed to grab Shirone. I was no match and ran away, Kuroka said. Does your little sister have white hair, short, and has one cattail? Issei says. Yeah, but how did you know? I know Grafians are Zex. There are only kind-hearted devils around. I used to be a pawn in Rias Grimmary's Barrage. Your sister is a rook in that team. She's strong and she's doing fine, but doesn't talk much. Has a stuck expression on her face most of the time, and she goes by the name of Konako. Kuroka is overjoyed that her little sister is alright, but then it clicked. Wait, what do you mean, used to be? Kuroka said. You trust me with your past, it's only fair that I do the same. Look into my memories, Issei said. Are you sure? I'll be going right through your memories, Kuroka replied. I have nothing to hide. Alright then, I trust you, Kuroka said. Kuroka puts her hand on Issei's head and closes her eyes. Using magic, she sees through his memories from his young age. Hearing about his parents' death, running from one orphanage to another, and being abused, surviving on the street, having a light spear put through his chest, 5 years of being a pawn, being used by his master who knew about the Fallen attacking him, being in a coma, revealing Riser's secret to Rias, her sudden guilt in kissing Issei, fighting Riser then removing his pieces, and a massive red dragon surrounded by flames. Kuroka only saw glimpses of it, but it knew it was too much. Kuroka let go of Issei and jumped back, breathing heavily with tears running down her face. Just what the hell did they do to you? Kuroka said. What haven't they done? I'll kill that bitch Rias when I see her, Kuroka said. As fun as that sounds, you better not. You're still being hunted, and it'll make things worse for the both of us, Issei replied. I can't believe that she had the nerve to do that. To start loving you just because Riser hurt her feelings, and after you loved her from the start. The fuck? Kuroka said. After all that you saw, what's got your attention? That's what's got your attention, Issei said. Issei deadpanned. Kuroka blushed and stammered. No, you misunderstood. Well, you see, I mean to say, Issei cuts her off by kissing her on the lips. Kuroka's eyes widen and then closes them to savor the kiss. She didn't really feel something. She really did feel something for Issei and knows that it was love. Issei breaks the kiss after a couple of seconds. I trust you enough to say that I feel something for you too. And I think I just proved it, Issei said. Yes, you have. Now more. Issei and Issei made out for a long time. End of the flashback. I would use magic and disguise myself and sneak into town. Got a few part-time jobs, used my cash I saved from my contracts, and Kuroka stayed with me in my apartment and now we are here, Issei said. Kuroka just snuggles up to Issei and stayed by his side the whole time. Rias looked jealous as fuck. If you came into town daily, then why didn't we notice your magical signature, Akano said. Because I became a dragon. My very being has changed, so that's why you couldn't find me. I could have walked right by you and you wouldn't have noticed. So that's why you left, Konako said. Yes, I knew that you would be okay because Lady Grafia was kind enough to protect you. I could tell by her aura, strong and compassionate, Kuroka said. She's right, Issei replied. You're too kind, Grafia said. That explains why you didn't visit in 5 years, Konako said. I was a stray. I was being hunted. If I showed up, then you would have been found out and used against me, Kuroka said. Miss Kuroka, you said your master experimented on you. Please shed some light on that subject because I was led to believe you went berserk, Sir said. Of course, it's the least I can do. Back when my master was experimenting on me, I saw him take notes on everything he did and kept them in an item where he hid it in plain sight. I wanted to show it to a Lady Grafia that day, but she was gunning for me, and any action taken didn't result in my survival would have been the death of me, Kuroka said. Your master was a friend of our family, but we never knew of his actions. I was too angry at this to think rationally. I should have tried to look beyond my anger. I apologize, Grafia said. No need to apologize. I hope you forgive me for killing your friend. I had no choice. Kuroka said. You saved Issei's life. How could I not? Grafia replied. Sir smiled. So you mentioned that he kept his research hidden, and you know where it is? If you provide that, you'll clear your name. Sir said. I would love to. She has it. Kuroka pointed to Konako. Everyone looked at her confused, who was just as confused. How would I have his research? Your hair clip. The one with the black cat on it. The research is hidden. He picked one hell of a hiding spot, Issei said. Yeah, my master Shalba was quite the clever, but never too power hungry, Kuroka said. Konako, would you be so kind to give us research? Sir said. Yes, sir. Konako gives Sir the hair clip. Interesting. There are dozens of seals planted on it to prevent the content from being viewed. This will take a long time to break. Ajuka and Azazel can help me. Everyone here continue enjoying themselves. I have work to do. Take care. Sir teleports and Grafia follows. Everyone else just continue to enjoy themselves. And that is the end of Chapter 13, Red Dragon and the Black Cat. Chapter 14, Research and Plumage. In the underworld, scene break, Sir and Grafia go to the research center and meet up with a fellow devil king, Ajuka. A tall man with green hair stands in his lab doing his research. Hello, Ajuka. How are you? Sir said. Sir and Grafia. I'm busy as always, so what brings you here? Something that may change the course of history, Sir said. Sir says in a serious tone, making Ajuka alert. Whatever you use your tone, I can tell you are serious. What's going on? Ajuka said. Sir tells him the story Kuroka told him about him and the hair clip. Ajuka examines it and notices there are quite a few power seals on it. The seals alone make me worry. Just what was Shalba doing? Ajuka said. That's what we all want to know. So I came to you. I know that you can break the seals, said Sir I'm glad you have faith with me. This will take a few days or even a few weeks. It's hard to say, Ajuka says. As long as it's done, that's all that matters, Grafia replied. I'll get right on it, Ajuka said. Did you find why Issei's pawn pieces lost their abilities? No, but I do have a theory. That when he removed them, he was absorbed the properties. If that's the case, then I don't know what changes may have occurred in Issei, Grafia said. Interesting. Guess we will have to wait and see. In the meantime, why not ask Azazel to help you? He's a fellow scientist after all. Excellent idea. That would actually help out a lot, Ajuka said. Both Sir and Grafia leave to do their jobs as Devil King and Queen. Ajuka calls Azazel, who appears via teleportation. So what's the interesting news, Azazel says. There's actually two. One involves illegally research related to enhancements sealed in his hair clip, and two the forcefully removed pawn pieces which lost its attributes after its owner removed said pieces. Interested? Hell yeah, bro! I assume the owner of the said pieces is dead, right? Azazel replied. He is very much alive. Issei Hyoudou has a unique existence. He's the first to survive such an event, Ajuka said. Wait, Issei? Respawn? I thought he was dead, Azazel replied. Nope. He's doing just fine, Ajuka said. I missed that guy. He was my drinking buddy. I used to form contracts with him under an alias, but he never figured out my identity and was a good listener. I should visit him, Azazel said. He's also the Red Dragon Emperor, Ajuka said. This kid is something else, Azazel replied. Wait, you made Issei drink with you since when? Azazel was now scared. He and Issei have been drinking before he was even turned 18. Well, shit, Azazel replied. Azazel, run, Grafia said. Azazel started running. He bolted and she was right behind him. He is going to be in pain for a while. Now, we're back to Issei. Issei and Kuroka were finally alone in their apartment after the others left. Both were tired, so they went to the bedroom. Looks like things are finally looking up, Kuroka said. Yeah, I'm alive and you're a free devil now. What do we do now? Kuroka replied. I want to sleep. I'm sick of passing out from pain or near-death experiences. Issei replied. I want the same for you, and I've used up most of my magic and didn't get much sleep last night, Kuroka said. You used it 3 times to save my life now, back when we first met, after the fight with Kokaville and during the operation. What can I ever do to make it up to you? Issei replied. Ooh, I'll let you know, Kuroka said. Kuroka winks at Issei, who returned a smirk. Issei sits on his bed slowly, and he lets out a small grunt. What's wrong? Kuroka said. My back hurts. I feel pressure in 8 places. Issei takes off his shirt, and he feels 4 thick lumps. There was definitely some pressure built up. What the hell are those? Kuroka said. Do me a favor and cut the skin using your claws. There's something under my skin. Issei said. Are you nuts? Kuroka replied. Yeah, but please do it. The pain is increasing, Issei said. All right, it sting a little. Kuroka takes out her cat clothes and all it lumps at once. What came out of the 4 pairs were black fallen angel wing with red edges. Some of the feathers detached as soon as Issei spread his wings. The red scale of Issei's body had a black edge too. What the hell? Kuroka said. Issei looked in a large mirror hanging on the wall. What the actual fuck? Issei said. That's my line, bub, Kuroka replied. I am so confused right now. It seems that this is the side effect of the transplant. When Kuroka used this sage magic, it merged with your heart and your body, and the different DNA combined. You, Issei, are the first fallen dragon. Hope you're not too disappointed, Drake said. Honestly, I don't know what to think about it. I'm not. I never hated fallen angels, just Kokaville and Rainier because of what they did, Issei replied. Yet her heart beats in your chest, Kuroka said. She destroyed mine like she ruined my life, but now it's my heart. Each beat is a reminder that she's dead and I am alive. My old self is dead, and so is my old heart. I have a new one, and this new one beats only for you, Issei said. That's the most morbid yet romantic thing you've said. Thanks, lover. She kissed him. You sure have an interesting outlook on life after all you went through. Yeah, I guess I do, Issei said. Issei looks at his wings. Kuroka comes closer and is curious like the cat she is. Issei, do you mind if I touch them? Go ahead. Kuroka runs her hand through Issei's plumage. The center was black as the darkest night from the center and slowly became blood red towards the edge. Issei twitched at Kuroka's touch as the fallen angel wings were sensitive. Issei found out firsthand. His face went red from the sensation, and Kuroka took notice, then smirked. She was going to tease him about this. Then Kuroka felt it. A gentle warmth coming from his wings. She never felt something like this. Wow, your rings are really soft and warm. Coming from it is one of a kind. I can't get enough of it. Issei, I have a request. What? Issei says. Wrap me in your wings tonight, please, Kuroka replied. If it makes you happy, let's do it. Winter is coming, Issei said. Yes, Kuroka replied. Both go straight to bed and Issei wraps her in his new wings as she cuddled him. She was completely enveloped by a gentle warmth and fell right asleep. Sleep tight, my little cat, Issei replies. And that's the end of chapter 14, Research and Plumage. And that's where we're going to be ending off. Thank you guys so much for the support that's been going on in this series. We seriously hit, I think we're at 20,700 subscribers currently as I'm recording this video. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Seriously, once again, I can't thank you enough. It's been absolutely amazing. The support on this series is kind of crazy. It's really cool to see it. You know, it reminds me of what happened with the What If Issei Was Betrayed series, the first time I ever tried it. I guess I found that little niche. I guess I'm just good at narrating. Thank you for all the nice compliments once again. I'm so glad we've been hitting the like goals. It's fucking crazy, seriously. And without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.